away from the screen and return our awareness to our own bodies, which are, after all, the first bit of nature entrusted to our care. So if you are seated, I invite you to stand and to let your feet root on the ground. Feel the support of the good earth beneath your feet. You might even imagine that you have roots coming down through the soles of your feet into the earth. You're taking in that good energy and support. You might bend your knees a little bit, and then you might just take a big, deep breath. Noticing as you breathe in and out that you are exchanging the elements of life with trees and with all green growing things. My name is Margaret Bullitt Jonas. I am an Episcopal priest. I am the missioner for creation care for the Episcopal Diocese of Western Massachusetts and also for the United Church of Christ in the Southern New England Conference. And I'd like to share with you a very simple 4-part body prayer, body meditation that I learned years ago from another Episcopal priest, Tilden Edwards. The first gesture is we place our palms at our heart, and this might express our intention to be present, to be mindful, to be fully here. The second gesture is we make a little bowl or cup with our 2 hands, offering what we can and who we are. The third gesture is one of receiving. We embrace ourselves and we take in the love, the goodness of life, the goodness of divine love and spirit, which is flowing out to us. And the fourth gesture is releasing it all, giving it all away, because there is no need to hoard. There's plenty more where that came from. So again, the intention to be centered, mindful, offering what we can, receiving and taking in, and then giving it all away. And we can coordinate it with the breath. So here we breathe in, we breathe out, we breathe in, we breathe out. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in, you might notice that one of the 4 gestures has particular energy for you, and that might be an invitation to linger there for a while. So it might be the gesture of being present, the intention to be mindful, even if the phone is ringing, even if you're driving and you're about to reach a red light, or you're mad at somebody or someone's mad at you. It's the intention to return to the heart and to be fully present. And you'll notice there are lots of nerve endings on our fingertips. So as we place our palms together, there's actually a lot of sensations there. So that's our intention, to be that sensitive to each moment, as if we're feeling our palms together at the heart. Or there might be energy around offering what we can. And for those of us who are climate activists and concerned about the climate crisis, we may feel we are very small and we don't have much to offer. So I often remind myself of the words of Edward Everett Hale, who said, "I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." So here we are, offering what we can, because there is plenty each of us can do. The third gesture is the one of embracing and receiving. And many of us are very good at giving, but maybe find it more difficult to receive that love. So here we let ourselves stand in a place like maybe we're under a waterfall and the love is pouring down upon us. And I heard years ago that scuba divers, when they go down deep, they are coached, if they get anxious, to embrace themselves like this and calm themselves down. And I think those of us who are walking on land may feel a similar need sometimes to find ways to soothe ourselves in times that can be traumatic. And the fourth gesture, giving it all away, like leaves in October that just release every last leaf, giving it all. So I invite you to attend into your body and to draw from the resources of our prayer and our bodily wisdom in the days moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. What a lovely way to start the day. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Day 3 of the American Climate Leadership Summit. We're so glad you're here with us today. I'm Meighen Speiser, ecoAmerica's Executive Director, and joining me is Vanessa Hauc, news anchor for Noticias Telemundo and ecoAmerica board member.
Thank you, Maggie. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be here with all of you today. So let's start by saying hello to each other in the chat. You can find the chat box, if you haven't already, just to the right of us now. Feel free to say hello in English, in Spanish, or in any other native language to you. Okay, so we say hello too. Today we're doing some first, things that we're doing for the first time. We have forums dedicated to diving deeper on topics. This morning's forum is called Climate and You, where climate gets personal. This afternoon, we will dive into restoration. First, we're going to honor the land, just as we have done in the past 2 days. I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you today from Miami, from the traditional lands of the Taino, Taquesta, and Seminole people. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present.
And I would like to acknowledge that I am joining you today from San Francisco on the traditional lands of the Muwekma and Ramaytush Ohlone peoples. I am grateful for them for stewarding this land for thousands of years. Acknowledgement by itself is a small gesture, but it becomes more meaningful when coupled with authentic relationships and informed action. So this beginning can be an opening to greater public consciousness of Native sovereignty and cultural rights. It's a step towards equitable relationships and reconciliation. So join us in adopting, calling for, and spreading this practice. I think the ecoAmerica team is putting the links in the chat for more information, guidance, and for you to participate authentically.
It's a beautiful practice, Meighen. Today, it's about caring for ourselves, caring for nature, and how we can do both at the same time, but also caring for our climate. Hearing the news from the American Lung Association's 22nd State of the Year report that 135 million of us Americans, including a disproportionate amount of people of color, live in counties where pollution levels frequently make the air too dangerous to breathe, can be depressing. In fact, the past has been quite traumatic between COVID, racism, and intense climate impacts. We can use these realities, our realities, to do something about it. We can all take action on climate and help address multiple pandemics at the same time.
Yeah, that's right, Vanessa. At ecoAmerica, we like to say from the moment you lift your head off the pillow in the morning to the moment you put it down at night, there are thousands of things you can do to be part of the solution on climate change. And there are many ways that these solutions will make your life better. So today we're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on solutions and benefits. And what are some things you are already doing to be part of the climate solutions? You might think about that. You might be surprised to learn that you're doing more than you think. Feel free to share one of your favorite ways you're leading on climate in the chat. If you have guides for other people to follow in your footsteps, make sure you share those too. As for me, there's so many things I like doing, but one thing that comes to mind is really truly unplugging, going into nature, going camping, being off media, letting the sunrise and sunset guide my day. Not only does that conserve energy, of course, but it makes me feel more grounded and happy and focused and rejuvenated.
And for me too, that's very important, Meighen. But one of my favorite things to do to act on climate is to talk to others about it. I do this through my news reporting, my stories through Planeta, Tierra, Noticias Telemundo, and through my nonprofit Sasha Mama, in which I go into different communities for days of training and discussions on climate leadership. It is such a rewarding world, and I feel grateful that I'm able to follow my passion.
I feel the same way, Vanessa. In fact, we should all follow your role and lead and talk more about climate change with friends, families, neighbors, colleagues, and of course, policymakers. At ecoAmerica, we conducted some research that shows that nearly 75% of Americans are somewhat or very concerned about climate change, including nearly half that are very concerned. but only 59% think others around them are concerned. And that's a significant gap. It means that people are feeling quite alone in their concern out there.
Yes, you are right. So talking about climate change, we let people know that you are also concerned and help them move forward towards solutions and bring others along. You can talk to those around you about climate and also ensure that they feel included. In fact, you can do this right now by engaging in the ecoAmerica team and other attendees on social media using the hashtag ACLS2021.
That's right. It's so important to give permission to other people to engage on this issue. So getting the word out helps them to do so as well. And I am pleased to welcome someone who has talked with many thousands of people about climate change. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Renstrom to give her opening remarks. Lisa has been the longest supporter of ecoAmerica. She has served on our board since inception, has given us her time, her financial support, her brilliance, her passion, and she's actually quite responsible for ecoAmerica because it was her passion for the environment and climate that inspired Bob Perkowitz, our founder and president, to trade in his sports car for a Prius and launch ecoAmerica, as Bob is her husband. So Lisa, I'm so grateful for all that you've done to inspire and support our mission and our work. I'm grateful for your friendship, and I'm pleased to welcome you today. Over to you.
Thank you, Meighen. Thank you, Meighen and Vanessa, and to Bob and ecoAmerica for bringing so many extraordinary voices. I've just so enjoyed the last couple days. I too am in Florida with the Gulf Coast on one side of me and the Gasparilla Sound on the other. This was the home and land of the Calusa peoples. It is now a part of Florida's Southwest Water Management District. This side of Florida's peninsula has beautiful mangroves, and if you close your eyes, you can feel the Everglades moving. Place is important. Sea level rise in Florida has been about 8 inches since the 1950s, and for the next little while, it will rise about 1 inch every 3 years. As Vanessa said, day 3 of the ecoAmerica Climate Leadership Summit is about climate change and you. Climate change and me, climate change and us. It's really interesting to get personal about it. So the first thing I did was, where did I first reference it? I found on my computer, the first thing on my personal journal was in February 2003. I must have heard Jeffrey Sachs speak, who is a professor at the Earth Institute at Columbia University, because I have notes telling me that he said he was working on long-term climate change issues, and that our world will not be safe and will not be pleasant unless we step up to the plate. The first document on climate change I found on my computer was March 28th, 2003 Science magazine. It was called Abrupt Climate Change. It was a review. But I know that my relationship with this specter began earlier. I know it began in the 90s when I led a local Sierra Club group. And I know I talked about climate change to my mom group in Charlotte, and I know they looked at me kind of quizzically and humoring me. I remember a meltdown that I had on the shores of Lake Michigan in Chicago when the grief of biological destruction overwhelmed me. I know that my desire to enlist humanity in solutions compelled me to serve 9 years on the National Sierra Club board. Climate change and I bonded when the club was able to close down hundreds of coal-fired power plants as it turned its focus to climate and justice. When Hurricane Katrina hit in New Orleans in 2005 and forced Bob's and my daughter to find a new college, I thought, if we can make this connection from this human-induced disaster to climate change, people will wake up. Then in 2008, I took a class at MIT called Global Climate Change, Economics, Science, and Policy from MIT's 2 leading climate modeling experts. And this ushered in my second grief period. I think I cried every morning for 2 or 3 weeks. In 2011, Occupy Wall Street opened my eyes to the reality that the 1% had designed systems to protect an economy fueled by fossil fuels and that protected their investments. And this is a little one, but in 2012, the USDA changed the planting zones on its plant hardiness map, and I'm a gardener. And it was so bizarre, it just felt like everyone should get it then. This was the United States Department of Agriculture, like the Farmer's Almanac. It ought to have influence. And then in 2015, we moved past 400 parts per million. And I kind of stopped checking parts per million after that. So as Meighen and Vanessa talked about some of the ways that they seek to walk the walk, I think we all have our pieces, big and little, that we contribute. Like many of you, I have a large collection of grocery bags, and consistent with my father's maxim, waste not, want not. Our heat is low in the summer, and the heat is low in the winter, and the cool is low in the summers. You too have probably recycled, composted, wrote letters to the editor, rode bikes, trains, buses, talked about climate change at Thanksgiving. Hats off to those who are vegan. I'm an aspiring one, but having grown up in Nebraska, I'm not there yet. When Bob and I moved to DC in 2010, we added solar thermal and solar PV to our roof. And DC had a clean energy purchase option, and we got an electric car. Today, I help people align their savings and investments with their values. And of course, be fossil free and not work with banks that finance pipelines or other fossil fuel projects. I spend a lot of time with my grandchildren, who will be adults in this brave new world. My relationship with climate change has had its highs and lows. I have felt triumphant, subdued, broken, humbled, and encouraged. Today, I seek to be courageous. And I am super grateful to be co-conspirators for justice with you, with nature, and with climate change, because she is teaching us how we must and can live with abundance and love on this planet. Today, I imagine we align ourselves in a flow and within Mother Nature's boundaries, caring for all of us, not just some of us, and those who have taken more, paying more. When I close my eyes sometimes and place my feet squarely on whatever surface is under me, I imagine the roots growing from my feet and intertwining with the roots of the trees and the things growing around me. I imagine my spirit and my voice joined with yours, joined with the millions of people, nonprofits, and some for-profits who care and who are every day reshaping their relationship with themselves and others and their relationship with the soil. So many of us are powerfully moving in the right direction, and so many of us are working effectively, hard, and from the heart. Together, we are a force against greed and malice, against profits over people, and we are joined in solidarity with each other and with nature. So I'm over my grief periods, and I am into courage. We are where we are, and I thank Mother Earth for being brutal and unforgiving, and for requiring us to rethink and find the ways to live in flow with each other and with her. So together, let's wallow in this power of camaraderie on this last day of ecoAmerica's Climate Leadership Summit. It is a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa. So beautifully said. You give us such an inspiration. Now, onto the Climate and You Forum. In this forum, we're getting personal about climate change, focusing on you. We're going to start a discussion on the ways that we can take care of ourselves and our climate at the same time. Then we'll talk about food in our Nature, Food, and You session. After some hot topics on waste and active transportation, otherwise known as spiking, we will talk about the ways that we can save energy and switch to clean energy in your home. Then right after 2 o'clock, we have some fun options for all of you to choose from.
That's right, Vanessa. We're going to hear some guidance from Gabe Brown on how to make our homes better and live with a green heart. We'll hear from Ariel Derhobel from ACEEE, and then she will tell us how to access low-income energy assistance programs. We'll also hear from Richard Louv, author of Last Child in the Woods and Our Wild Calling, who will be reading some passages from his books. Then we'll have the opportunity to get our bodies moving with exercises from Coach Greg Bianchi, which will be a nice way to transition into the Restoration Forum.
Definitely. And throughout this forum and throughout the day, be sure to engage with us and each other in the Action Center to the right of your screen. In the Action Center, you can do many things. You can chat to other attendees, you can ask and bob out for questions for our speakers that they may answer live on air. You can also take polls and let us know how you're feeling using the emojis. That there is thumbs up and there is hearts and much more. And you can also engage with everybody in social media. Be sure to like and share and tweet using the hashtag ACLS2021.
And try to engage with each other on the chat, make connections. Next year we hope to be in person, of course, where networking can happen the old-fashioned way. And we're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we hope you find new people with whom to collaborate on the local level and, of course, for national purpose. And we'll be sure to push out feedback surveys as well that we hope that you will take in order to really help us really continue to grow and make this event more excellent. So we greatly appreciate you sharing your experience, your thoughts, your ideas to help make each American Climate Leadership Summit even better. And as a reminder, for those of you who are interested in joining, we're creating the private online community by ecoAmerica for you to share and collaborate with each other after this event ends. So the ecoAmerica team will put the link in the chat and for you to let us know if you're interested. Okay, with that, let's get started.
Absolutely. Our first session is called You, the Planet, Taking Care of Each Other. And there is many ways that climate change can impact us. Many ways also to be part of the solution. Fortunately, most things you do to improve yours and your family health and well-being also help the well-being of the planet. Next, we will hear from experts in mental, physical, pediatric, and public health on key ways that we can take care of ourselves and also at the same time of our climate. Please join me in this session right after the clip of our sponsors.
Until every case is filed, argued, and won. Until people come before profit. Until the wild is truly free. Until our power comes clean and all power is held accountable. As a national legal nonprofit, no one fights more cases for the environment than Earth Justice. Until justice stands for all, we will never rest.